Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mian. Today, I would like to teach you mental state examination in less than 10 minutes. This is an introductory video and I'm hopeful to bring more videos with deeper explanation in the future. In medical schools, students learn how to conduct mental state assessments. Some schools teach a mnemonic to remember different aspects of the assessment. It is usually called aseptic. A, S, E, P, T, I, C. Appearance, speech, emotion, perception, thought, insight, and finally, cognition. In this video, we will briefly explore what each item entails. A stands for more than one thing. The first is appearance, which includes apparent age, attire, cleanliness, and so on. Secondly, it also stands for attitude, where cooperativeness, calmness, hostility, and other attitudes are elicited. A also stands for activity because we aim to observe both voluntary and involuntary movements as part of the examination. The next step is about speech. Speech is commonly specified into rate or speed of the speech, rhythm or tone of the voice, volume or loudness, latency or level or spontaneity of the speech. Speech assessment also include assessment for fluency, which can be affected by various neurological conditions. Emotion can be subdivided into mood and affect. Mood is usually interpreted as the feeling state described by the patient, and affect is regarded as the external expression of these feelings observed by the examiner. Another way of differentiating mood and affect is that mood is a sustained feeling over a period of time, while affect is the emotional state at the time of the assessment. In perception, we usually try to separate functional and dysfunctional experience. For example, illusion or misinterpretation of actual stimulus is functional and normal experience. The same goes for deja vu, which is functional experience healthy people can have. Something like depersonalization or derealization can be either functional or dysfunctional experience. Finally, hallucinations are mostly abnormal or dysfunctional experience with a few exceptions. Thought can be divided into two categories. The first one is thought process. In normal thought process, people keep track on the topic in hand. But in circumstantiality, people talk overly detailed with unnecessary points, but they always return to the topic. And like circumstantiality, tangentiality thoughts stray down to another path without returning to the topic. Flight of idea is quite like tangential thought, but rapidly changing topics with no elaboration of each thought. Loosening of association shows complete loss of logical coordination. The second category of thought assessment is about thought content. It includes delusion. obsession, overvalued ideas, magical or superstitious thinking, preoccupation, and so on. How to differentiate between them is a big task, and it cannot be done in a 10-minute introductory video. Insight has 3 steps: recognition, attribution, and action. Recognition is the patient's awareness of the presence of the problem. Attribution is when the patient can label the problem correctly as a pathological. Finally, when the patient accepts the need of treatment, the insight is complete. In addition to the insight, we assess judgment, which is the patient's capacity to make sound decisions like a rational person, comparing pros and cons of the options. Thorough cognitive examination can be very long, but in mental state examination, we just roughly look at orientation to time, place, and person, concentration on tasks, focus and attention to the interview, short and long-term memory, and finally, we can assess if the patient has rigid concrete thinking or fluid abstract thinking. We now have reached the end of this video. I won't be too surprised if you are left with more questions than the answers. Mental state examination is the backbone of psychiatry interview, and it cannot be taught in a 10-minute video. This video is to give a taste and overview of it, hoping to draw interest into learning more deeply about mental state examination. If people show great interest, I will try to create more videos to explain each aspect of the mental state examination. See you soon.